What's going on? It's Kimberly Prosperity out of Savannah, Georgia. And in this video, guys, I just wanted to jump on really quickly and speak to you. I'm going to let some people know that I'm live, especially in my parenting group. Um, I just wanted to jump on and ask you guys and give you some food for thought as far as how well do you know your kids' friends and even like boyfriends and girlfriends. That's something I really want to talk to you about. I'm at the pool now with my son and one of his friends. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me just thank God for voice texting. Let me see here. I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube if you'd like to join me at. And as you come in the room, tell me where you are watching from. I see some people. Hey, y'all. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Miss y'all. Let me just put this in here. And then after that, I'm going to go in my credit tips group. Have you guys joined the credit tips group? It's free. It's on Facebook. I know many of you are not on Facebook, but if you are, definitely join me on there. I'm giving out some good info. Um, yeah. One more thing. So I want to know, guys. Let me know. If you have children, how well do you know their friends? Tell me, do you have specifically? I'll ask you this: do you have the phone numbers to your kids' friends? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this because, like, for example, this young man that's with my son, I have his both of his parents' phone numbers. The wife gave me the husband's phone number, and so all three of us are on the same page as it relates to parenting and our kids hanging out and things of that nature, what we will and will not tolerate. So we take turns. We take turns with my child going over to their place and their child coming over to mine. He's one of few kids who's allowed to do that. And so thank you guys. Oh man, hold on. I think, it's been so long since I've been live. I don't even know how to look at the comments. Isn't that a trip? Let me see here. Okay. All right. I think I got it. I'll look at it on my other phone. But so when we were coming down to the pool today, I asked could he come, and thankfully he could because I don't even own a swimsuit. So it's always more fun when you have a friend, right, versus when you don't. So I'm glad about that, but this is somebody who I know, okay, at any point in time I can contact his parents and ask, hey, did you hear about this going on at the school, or has your son been having issues with this? My son, like, we can dialogue, okay? And I think we've gotten away from that. And I wanted to really come to you all and speak to you because along with the credit group, I have a parenting group. Not that I'm the best parent in the world, but I'm just sharing some things. My son and I have come from a very, very, very dark place in our communication, a very bad place, to doing much better. At one point, his grades were horrible, and I just got the progress report, and his grades are great. And it's not because I'm helping him. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all because this I don't know what kind of subjects, what kind of math they doing now, but I don't even know how to help them, and I have a master's degree. Just saying. So anywho, what do you call it? What do you call it? So we've made great strides, my son and myself, in our communication and some things that he was struggling with. Okay. Now, I'm just sharing with some people and giving them a safe place to vent because so many people are going through as they try to find balance between making money and taking care of the kids. The communication has gone down between all of us, and it's not surprising because oftentimes, if you're in a relationship, the communication with you and your spouse has gone down as well. So, communication is definitely something we all need to work on. And my son and I have worked it does take two. It does take two. I have had to learn multiple ways of telling him the same thing to get through to him that I'm not trying to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. I'm actually trying to help you and help us both get to a place where we can enjoy each other's company. And thankfully, it has worked. It has definitely worked. I have proof of it working. Okay. So I remember this took me, and I also had a conversation. I'm all over the place, but I also had a conversation of with, oh hey, how you doing? I never officially met you. I'm his mom, and you're the big brother. All right, you're, what's your name again?
Joshua.
That's right. That's right. I knew that. I knew that. My bad. Um. So sorry, y'all. But I was speaking to my friend yesterday, a good friend of mine that I've known for a very long time, and we were having a great conversation. I can't believe he has grown daughters now. But in speaking with him, he was saying how one of his daughters has um, a boyfriend, and I said, you know, you like him, and he said, yeah, he's a good guy, and because he said I met him, he's a good guy. I said that's cool. I said, do you have his phone number? And my friend was like, no. And then and I can do this with this friend, right? There are certain people. I'm not trying to tell a man what to do, but I have certain friends that they can give me advice, and because I know they're coming from a pure and genuine place, I will willingly take that advice because I know their heart. I'm not like, you ain't my man. No, it's not like that at all. And likewise, I have some male friends that know I only want the best for them, and so they don't take offense when I give them advice. And I don't usually have to have a precursor with them like I do with a stranger, because oftentimes if I don't know you, I'll say, do you mind if I share something with you? And let me see. Okay, so Deborah said, I would love to see you have a conversation with the real Lady Rackets. I don't know who they are. Okay, but I'll definitely look into them after this because you piqued my interest. I think it would be a great time for everyone. Okay. And you know what's so funny? This week, somebody got so mad at me because they're like, I've been asking you for an interview for the longest, and you've interviewed all these other people, but you haven't interviewed me. You know, I'm kind of touchy about other people's platforms. But I'll check it out and see. My people know me though, so I don't think you would recommend me to anybody that I probably wouldn't vibe with. So yeah, I'll check it out and see. But no, I do not. I do sometimes wait. That's a whole nother conversation. Anywho, I was speaking to my friend yesterday, and I asked him. I said, "Do you have your daughter's boyfriend's phone number?" And he was like, "No, I actually don't." I said, "Do me a favor." I said, "Please get it." I said, "Please get it." And I just spoke to him and I said, you know, as a woman who has never had a covering, I can see how it has affected me in multiple ways. And I can see in my life how men treat women who don't have a covering. And he's a good father. He loves his children. And so I said, you know, it's great that your kids know that. But anybody that comes into their life needs to know that too. And so especially someone at the, hold on, y'all. Sorry about that phone call that come through. Okay, I just rejected it. But he's a great father, and his daughter knows that. But now that that boyfriend is that in the picture, he needs to know that too. And it needs to be like man to man, where they can speak to each other without him having to go through his daughter. If that boy acts up, he doesn't need to go through his daughter and say, what's his phone number again? Let me have a conversation with him. Absolutely not. And I even think, just like I know my son's friend and I know my son's friend's parents, I even think that, you know, once it gets to the point of boyfriend and girlfriend, you want to meet the parents. And it can be, I know a lot of people are like, it's not that serious nowadays. They just dating. But to me, this is, see, y'all don't understand. There's a channel I'm subscribed to, and it only deals with missing kids and kids that have been their lives have been taken away. And it's shocking to me how many young people, right, young people under the age of 20 have had their lives taken away because of a jealous or out of control another young person. So I don't take it lightly. You can call me paranoid if you want, but I don't take it lightly at all. I know the music will try to make us all think it's no big deal. I hit it, I quit it, I this and that. But no, as parents nowadays, I think that we should demonstrate more wisdom and be more proactive in knowing about the people that our children are interacting with. And to me, if your child has a problem with that, or the person that they're dealing with has a problem with that, then that's a clue, right? That is a clue. So I was just you don't have his phone number and he doesn't have your phone number, that if he wants to call you, and I said, you establish that bond with him. And your daughter shouldn't be bonded with him and you just met him. That's all you have. You should be bonded with him, not almost at the same level, but kind of in tandem as she is bonding with him. Because what if it does progress to something like this? Could really make or break a lot of things in a relationship. Young ladies who know that their fathers have their back, and young men who know their fathers don't deal with that, they don't try certain things. It's literally just like if I'm walking down the street, right? And I'm always aware of this. If I'm walking down the street with my son, I know that I am more vulnerable than if I am walking down the street with my son and my little brother, who is really my big brother because he's like 6'6", and he's huge, right? Even if it's a short man, to be honest with you, if I'm walking down to the street by myself with my son, I am more vulnerable than if I'm walking down the street with a male to the outside eye, right? So it's just like people, and definitely men, will try stuff when they know a woman does not have a male who is very active and very vocal in her life to stand up and stick up for her. And I'm so thankful for my friend, because he was like, you know what, Kim, I never really thought about it that way. And I said, yeah, if you like him and he's a good guy, there's no reason why y'all shouldn't be able to exchange numbers. And then who knows? I don't know if his father is in his life or not, but you know, if he's grown to know your daughter and he has some questions about some things, wouldn't you prefer that he call you than call one of his little janky male friends who's probably listening to all these manosphere guys on the internet? Wouldn't you like to be able to call him at a whim and just say, hey man, just checking on you, how you doing? Because I'm telling y'all for a fact, it's going to affect how they interact with your child differently. I know it. And when I was working in education, y'all probably won't believe me, but I'm telling you the truth. I was surprised at how many parents would call me. In my particular county, there were a lot of at-risk youth. And I was not a teacher. I was an administrator. So I worked with the parents. I did a lot of stuff after school. And I got to know a lot of parents because I would need parent authorization to work with their kids. Again, I was not a teacher. So when I would get to know these parents, I would be surprised at how much of a regular occurrence it was for, hold on one second. Okay. I was so surprised at how much of a regular, when it gets quiet, I'd be like, what's going on? But I was surprised at how much of a regular occurrence it was for parents to call me because their children were missing. Because their children had left the house. We're talking about 15, 16-year-olds just left the house in the middle of the night. And I'm getting a phone call in the middle of the night. And they're like, hey, Miss Q, this is so-and-so's mom. I can't find my son. Have you heard from him? Because I had a good rapport with the students. I looked young back then. I looked young. And so, but I also let the students know, I'm here for you, but don't test me. Don't play with, don't disrespect me. And they were fine with that. As long as you set boundaries, they were perfectly fine with that. So I would routinely have parents, mostly single moms, call me saying that they couldn't find their child. And I would be like, okay, let me, the only thing these parents would have, would be the child's phone number. So they would literally call me and ask me, do you know what his Facebook is? Do you know what his Instagram is? And I'd be like, yeah. And I was shocked that they didn't know their own child's social media profiles. I was shocked that, they would definitely ask, do you know who their friends are? Do you have his friend's number? Can you, because I remember this one lady, she called me, she had not seen her child in over 24 hours. And she wanted to know if I knew who her child hung with and if I had their phone number. And I was panicking because it was a good kid. And I was, what? You haven't seen him over 24 hours? But then I did kind of judge in that moment. I was about to lie. I understand the more I talk to people, though, how what's the word? How much people have on their plates, especially those that are doing it alone. At the time that I was the administrator over that program, I was married. It's going to be totally different for a married person to understand like a single parent's situation fully. You just cannot understand how much time it takes to do everything by yourself. Now I get it. Right? Now I get it. But I really, really felt for her in that moment. The fact that she didn't have any of her own child's information outside of his phone number. She didn't know who he hung with. She didn't know any of his friends. And I did. And I was just like, wow, this is somebody I just met and I know more. And I'm telling y'all, man, when I used to work with those kids, they used to sit in my office and tell me all kinds of things. So it wasn't just about me being the administrator for the program. It was about me really bonding with them, showing an interest in them, and them having somebody they felt like would listen to them. Because once, and I was very old school, old school with a younger face back then, but I would let them know, hey, don't curse, don't do this, don't do that, you're better than this, you're better than that. um I never labeled any of the kids I worked with bad, but I did let them know your behavior, you're better than this behavior, this bad behavior than you're exhibiting. And it's just, it's how we communicate to these kids. And it's how, and communication involves so much more than just what we say and how we say it to them. It involves every single thing: how we look at them, how we discipline them, mostly how we treat them when we're mad at them versus when we're happy with them. Because it's easy to be fine with somebody when everything is great, but when things are horrible, that's how they really know that you love them. That's how they really know that you care about them. It's so funny because my son and I, we went to church today, and it was good. It was what we needed. And when we came back, he was like, what you want to eat, Mom? And I said, I feel like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He said, I do too. I'll make you one. And so he carefully made us some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I was like, well, that's nice. And he said, you know, I said, well, I'll fix the milk. And I put the milk in like these beautiful rose gold, like tall stem glasses I have, just to be fancy, a little fancy with the PB&J. And so the minute I sat down at the table, he put our sandwiches there, and the minute I put the glasses there, I sit down, he sits down, and I have a pedal table. So for those of you who don't know, it's a round tabletop, and it has a base that flares out toward the bottom, and the bottom, is in the center. Excuse me. My son always puts his feet on the bottom of the table, and then he pushes off of it, which makes the whole table go move. Well, today when he did it, baby, I mean, we had just sat down, and today when he did that, put his, just like I tell him not to do, put his feet at the bottom of the table, and then push off of it. I don't know what he be trying to do. I don't know whether he be trying to push his chair back. I don't know. But when he did that, of course the table moved. So then my stemmed glass fell. Well, it wasn't glass, but it's a metal thing, whatever. But it went completely over. Hey, where's he at? What? Where's he at? Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see you. Okay. But my glass, he's about to go home? What? What'd you say? Okay. So my glass fell all the way over, and all the milk just spilled right on the floor. And I looked at the floor, and I looked at my son, and his face just looked like, oh no. And I didn't even say anything. I just got up. I thought about what the old folks used to say, don't cry over spilled milk. So I just got up, got the Swiffer, got some hand towels, and just went to clean it. He said, I'll help you clean, I'll help you. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I said, it's okay. And he just kept saying, I said, it is really okay. Thank you again for making the sandwiches. You can go ahead and eat. I'll clean this up. And regardless, he helped me clean it up regardless. He's like, no, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you my milk, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he was so sweet. And I'm so happy that my first instinct is, don't I tell you all the time not to do that? But when I looked at his little face, and I knew it was an accident, and I looked at his little face, I said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to go to church. I don't go to church for attendance purposes. I have to like walk the walk and be, you know, when I leave church, I got to do my best to still try to take what I heard and internalize, and then, you know, input determines output. So I'm like, you know, in the greater scheme of things, this is not a big deal. I already know he feels bad, right? So I'm not going to make him feel any worse about it. It's not the end of the world. We're going to clean it up. We're going to eat. We're going to have a good time. And that's what we did. And when we ate our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which was good, by the way, uh, we talked about it, and I said, you know, did you think I was going to fuss at you? And he was like, yeah, I did. And so I'm happy I could show I didn't do that. He said, because you tell me all the time not to do that. I said, well, now you see why. And we just had a conversation about it. And the main thing with me is that I do not want to teach my son, because see, a lot of people nowadays, they're in bad relationships not because they want to be. Nobody wants to be in a bad relationship. You know why a lot of people are in bad relationships? It's because something about that person was familiar to them. Something about that person was familiar to them. I've come to find this out. I've come to learn that. Even if it was a bad, you know, familiarity, it was familiar. And we tend to gravitate toward what is familiar to us. So I don't want to be familiar to my son and a bad influence. Meaning, in my mind, this is how I think about it. If I'm his mom and I tell him I love him, right? And love is unconditional. And love is all of these things. I want to demonstrate love all the time. Will it be easy? No. But that's what true love is. It's not easy. It's not easy, right? And so that means if I say I love him, and if I want him to be a healthy being, and if I want him to be a great spouse, a great parent, a great friend, a great, you know, business partner, or whatever, to whoever he deals with. Because I'm telling you, the roles that we have in our life, whether or not we're good in them or not, really just stems down to, are we a good person? If you're a good person, if your root is good, then every facet of your life is going to be demonstrative of that fundamental, right? That foundation, the root. Because it all stems from the root, right? The different branches of your life, the different roles that you play. So what I want to do, if I want to make him a good person, I have to be a good person. And that means like all the time. That means even when he does something that, yes, I've warned him about a million times before, I don't blow up, because again, in the greater scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. And if I can demonstrate self-control, self-restraint, especially when I know it wasn't intentional, then I'm showing him how to do that. I don't want him to be a parent in everything that he took, because we all know that children don't listen. Right? We didn't listen. But I don't want him to be a parent that constantly fusses at his child when things are wrong, and then when things are right, oh, look at daddy, big boy, come on over here, son, let's take a picture together. And then when things are wrong, didn't I tell you? If I don't want him to be that, then I have to show him an example of how not to be that. And what I know for me is, I think about my future daughter-in-law all the time, and I'm just like, okay, Lord knows I do not want him to get some woman who's giving him a twisted face, rolling her neck, rolling her eyes, having an attitude, or berating him, or emasculating him, or anything like that. And likewise, I don't want him to do that to her. Don't tell her you love her, and then the minute she doesn't, you know, dance to the beat of your drum, now she's all kinds of this, that, because that is not love. And so I have to, but see, guess what? If as a parent, I tell him I love him, and then I do that, I'm happy with him because he got a good progress report. But then you spill the milk, and I'm like, don't I tell you all the time not to do that with the table? This is the reason why I told you. So not in his mind, and I'm telling you, Dr. Caroline Leaf and Dr. Joe Dispenza, they help you with how your mind interprets stuff, y'all. It goes deep, like your body and the science of the mind. It goes so deep. Stuff that we think is no big deal really is. Really is. And so if I were to do that, say I love him, and then I only praise him when things are good, but then I berate him when things are bad, then he interprets that that is what love is. Because the person who created him, His mother, one of the people who created him, his mother, that's what she did to me. So now, guess what? When he finds some little girl who does the same thing, it's familiar to him. It's familiar to him. So when she says, I love you, it makes sense to him, even though it don't make no sense. This is why people stay in relationships that are bad for them, because they don't even know. It is familiar to them. And oftentimes, the very people, the first people in their lives that said, I love you, demonstrated some form of this same bad behavior. So they don't recognize it as something that they need to leave. Hell, they've been dealing with it all their life until they left the house, right? If you have unhealthy parents and you've been dealing with them all your life until you left the house, when you get with an unhealthy spouse, your leave trigger has been numbed. Does that make sense? I'm hoping it makes sense, because I really want us all. I know all of us, let me not lie, all of us ain't doing the best we can. Most of us just say that. But I do believe that a lot of people are doing the best they can. But I challenge you to do better. I have listened to audiobooks. I have listened to podcasts. I have gone into support groups to learn how to be a better person. Because the truth be told, after the divorce, I was really no better than my son. He was frustrated. I was frustrated. He had been uprooted from everything that he had known. I had been uprooted from everything that I had known. He didn't know how to express himself. I didn't know how to express myself. He was a little kid, and truth be told, I was a little kid too, just in a big person's body. I was no better than him. But we were headed down a very, very, very bad path, and things were getting worse. And I was trying to make him better without making me better. I was trying to tell him how to do right, and I wasn't doing right. Not on purpose, but it doesn't matter, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So my intentions don't matter. All that matters is my actions. And so I had to challenge myself to stretch beyond my comfort level and everything that I had known up to that point. Because clearly something was wrong. I'm in my late 30s, sharing a room with my son, living at my mama's house after a divorce. Clearly something was wrong. So on the regular, I am challenging myself, and I know people make fun of people with you gentle parenting. Hey, I call it healthy parenting. And I do think it is unhealthy, a lot of the things that people have done. But you know what? You know why they do it? My mama did it to me. My daddy did it to me. Again, it's familiar. It's familiar. But let's start making the things that are detrimental, that are familiar, foreign to us. At any point in time, you can change that narrative. And I'll tell you this, like if you whooping on a child and you like, I always have to get, he just don't learn. I keep beating him, he just don't learn. Well, ma'am, isn't that a clue to you? Sir, isn't that a clue to you? If your beatings ain't doing nothing, shouldn't you stop beating them? Clearly that ain't the answer. Because I will tell y'all this, I have been getting so much better results out of my child and us just talking than I have when I used to pop him or hit him. And now this young man is about to be a teenager. The height that he's gotten in the last year, the weight that he's put on, I'm happy I changed my course of disciplinary action, because to be honest with you, if I had just solely relied on physical threats, I would only have about a good 6 more months of that before he can overpower me. I'm just telling you the truth. Now, some people can say, I ain't scared of my son. I don't care how big he get. He know I'll pop him upside the head with a pan. Okay, that sound good to you? That sound good to you? So when he meets another young lady who, the minute she doesn't like the restaurant he took her to, she's out in the street going, I know you ain't brought me to no cheesecake factory. This type of girl, get your coins up. Ain't no reason for you to be. Now that's familiar to him. So I'm not sharing this from a place of holier than thou. Definitely, absolutely not. I'm cutting a video. Oh, okay.
And
All
it's
right.
not because he has to go, it's because it's starting to get a little bit colder than.
Okay. We're about to leave too, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Where's my thing?
It's take this money time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, don't run. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, I'm happy that I changed my course of action and stopped using physical force to discipline him because that's clearly not the way. Hey, yes, you can. If his parents say it's okay. Okay. Stop running. Don't even jog. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, truth be told, I don't have much longer to physically discipline him, and I don't want physical force to even be involved. A lot of times when people result to physicality, it's because they don't know how to use communication. They don't know how to use this mouthpiece. So they have to use the muscle. And we've got to challenge all of ourselves to learn how to use this right here. Because the power of the tongue is it's unbelievable, y'all. I'll tell y'all this because this broadcast has been going on for a long time. But I don't care. Just one person, if one person gets something from this, I'm happy. But I'll tell you, while we were eating our PB&J, after we cleaned up the floor together, even though I told him he didn't have to, I appreciate the fact that he helped me. And while we were watching that, while we were at the table, we watched Dondre Whitfield talking with I forgot what's that fine man name. Dang, he fine. I forgot. But anyway, I'm distracted now. But it was Dondre Whitfield who wrote the book Male versus Man. And hey Ashley, just talking to you. She said, hey, very true. But yeah, it was Dondre Whitfield who wrote the book Male versus Man, which has really helped me as a woman raising a male by myself. Um, I want to raise a man, not just a male. And the two should never be confused. And so we were, Boris Kojo. I knew it would come to me. In my head, I was like, please come to me, please. So Dondre Whitfield and Boris Kojo were having a conversation on YouTube. And it was a YouTube video, and it was about male versus man because both of them did not have positive male, their fathers weren't positive role models in their lives, and so they had to learn how. And both of them have had long-term, very successful marriages. You never hear about them, even though they're both actors, and Hollywood is Holly weird. You never hear about them, with scandalous moments. They've been with their wives for some time, and they were just having a discussion as two black men about coming into manhood and going beyond the level of just existing as a male. And it was beautiful. And I wanted my son to hear those two men having that discussion because the way they communicated, I'm just very, very into how people communicate nowadays. I don't mind us having opposing views, but how you communicate to me, that means everything. Ashley said, I just got done having my son watch videos of how to be a gentleman. Right, right. And that's what we have to do. But for me, I've really been tapping my son into Dondre Whitfield because I want him to hear how a young man who didn't have a positive, a man to teach him how to be a man. This is so funny. These people are coming with their dogs to the one spot where I am. Like, out of all this space, they're at the one spot where I am. So that's here, y'all. Who y'all here talking? So anyway, um, yeah, I've been tapping my son into Dondre Whitfield because I just wanted him to hear um, how he navigated coming into manhood. I'm not going to say on his own because he had other influences in his life, and that's something I'm thankful for too. For everything that you don't have in your life, God will supply your need. It might not be from the person you desire it to be, but he'll send you an angel on earth. He will send you an angel on earth. So if you're a man and you're a single parent raising a young daughter, he will send you someone. And you don't have to be romantically involved with the woman either. But God will send you a woman who will be like a motherly figure to your daughter. and teach her some things that you can't teach her as a man. Likewise, me as a single mom, my son, um, hey everyone, my daughter just met a girl over summer break. I feel like her. You know what? I'm happy that you recognize that. If you feel some kind of way about this friend, I'm happy that you recognize that. And oh, message is gone. Okay. And you know I didn't read the whole message, so apparently you don't want that out there. But I'll tell you this, even like with my son's friend, if there's anything that I know about, I am at the comfort level with his parents that I can call his parents and say, hey, can we all arrange a talk? And they're at the same comfort level with me, because we've done that before, where if something went on with the boys, you know, as they're maturing into young men, if something went on with them, or if we heard about something at the school, we all called, all of us as parents and with the boys together, called a meeting and just facilitated a talk to let both young men know, hey, we are here, we care about y'all, and this is what we're going to talk about tonight, and this is why we're all talking together, just to, you know, so that nobody has to wonder about anything and there's no bad blood. And that's the role that parents should take in their children's lives. Yes, you want your children to grow up and you want them to establish their own independence, but you don't ever want them to feel like that you don't have their back and they're left hanging to fend for themselves. So, you know, again, my whole point is get to know your kids, get to know your kids' friends, especially when they start to get boyfriends and girlfriends. Do not. You good? I don't know how that happened. I didn't want that towel wet. The only way that could have happened is if you were doing something you weren't supposed to do. He know it. He said, yes, ma'am. He know it. Because there ain't no way. I hate my profile. Ooh, it look like I got a... Ooh, that profile ain't cute. Okay, so anyway, yeah. Get to know your kids. Turn off the radio. Talk to your kids. Get to know their friends. Get to know their boyfriends and girlfriends when they come to the point where that's what they have. If anybody shies away from you or they act like they don't want to give you that information, that's a clue. That's a clue, right? It's amazing how many young people, once they leave this earthly realm, we'll say that. It's amazing. Not amazing, but it's surprising how many young people, once they leave their physical body at the hands of another young person, then and only then do their parents find out, post life, who their child has been hanging around. Ooh. And oftentimes the parents say, you know what? I had no clue. And again, I'm not saying this to shame anyone. If this is you, if you identify with what I'm saying, guess what? If your child's still living, you have a chance to change that. You have a chance to change that. And I promise you, if you're thinking to yourself, Kim, I don't want my child to think that I'm like a helicopter parent, and I don't want them to think that I don't trust them. Again, it goes back to the communication piece. If you articulate yourself to your child, hey, I care about you, this is why I'm doing this, and the more they trust you, they will not think that at all. I promise you that. I don't care the age, I don't care the gender, I don't care. I promise you. It is only when your child does not trust you because they feel like they don't know you, they don't know your intentions, and you don't know them. That's the only time you're going to get pushback. That's the only time you're going to get resistance with them saying, why you want to know all that about my friends? Why are you asking all these questions? And it truly is sad how many people live in the same household and they don't even know each other. Sleeping in the same bed, if your husband and wife, if your spouses, sleeping under the same roof, children and the parents don't even know each other, have no clue. So let's change that, y'all. Thank you all for, I know this was pretty lengthy, but I felt it was necessary. I take this very, 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 very seriously because one thing, I love my kid, and I know y'all love, if you're watching my video, you love your kid because you wouldn't sit here this long if you didn't. And so what we've got to do is, oh, Ashley said makes sense. Thank you. Very informative. Oh, thank you for being here, Ash. But yeah, I know you love your kid. And so what we've got to do is learn how to demonstrate love. Because for the majority of us, the examples that we had weren't the best examples. Okay? But love is patient. Love is patient. Love is kind. It doesn't brag. It doesn't boast. I don't know the rest of the scripture. I'll get at it. But I know those four lines. Love is patient. Love is kind. It doesn't brag or boast. It doesn't do all these things that I see people doing, even though they say they love people. So, a lady of valor, she said, I agree. Wonderful. I appreciate y'all so much. It's good to be back. Had some things going on. Still do. But regardless, I had to show up. It was time to show up. So, thank you all. I hope y'all having a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. I don't forgot how to. It's been so long. I don't forgot how to end it. Okay, I think this is it. Is this it? Yes, that's it.